Before we begin, this is Arid Stories. If you enjoy real crime stories and deep investigations, make sure you subscribe, like the video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Scott was a man filled with anger, resentment, and entitlement. He hated women deeply, yet believed they owed him sex and affection. When he didn't get what he thought he deserved, that hatred slowly turned into something far darker. His twisted heroes were serial killer Ted Bundy and mass murderer Elliot Rodger, and he believed violence was the answer to his rejection. Scott was born in New York and grew up in what looked like a normal household. His family went to church, and he even joined the Boy Scouts. But socially, Scott struggled from a young age. He was painfully shy, had very few friends, and was constantly bullied at school. As he grew older, the bullying only intensified. Scott later said that 8th grade was the worst year of his life, the moment everything changed for him. He believed the girls in his class mocked and rejected him the most. That rejection turned into hatred. Even though he despised them, he still wanted them and believed he was entitled to their bodies. While Scott saw himself as a victim, many people described him as rude, aggressive, and openly hateful toward anyone who didn't fit his narrow worldview. Writing became his escape. Scott wrote stories, novels, and music, believing he was a misunderstood genius. But his writing revealed something disturbing: rage, bitterness, and violent fantasies aimed at women. As an adult, Scott continued living with his parents. Throughout college and every job he ever had, the same pattern followed him. He harassed, stalked, groped, and sexually assaulted women. He wrote stories about becoming a serial killer and songs about being fired for inappropriate behavior. One song, titled "Locked in My Basement," described kidnapping a woman and holding her captive. His own parents were so frightened by his behavior and writings that they locked their bedroom door at night. Scott's behavior wasn't limited to adult women. After being caught acting inappropriately with children at a family gathering, he was banned from family events. Still, at 26 years old, he managed to get a job teaching teenagers. Predictably, the same behavior continued. He cornered a student in an empty classroom, touched her without consent, and made explicit comments about her appearance. Although the incident was reported, no serious action was taken. This cycle repeated again and again. Scott was accused at multiple jobs, yet somehow kept finding new positions. At one point, he joined the U.S. Army, only to be removed after being accused of sexually assaulting 4 female officers. At 33, still living with his parents, Scott returned to college, not for education, but for access to young women. He chose Florida State University, a place tied to Ted Bundy, his idol. He would even drive past the same sorority house where Bundy committed his crimes. On campus, Scott was arrested multiple times for groping women from behind. Even after graduating, he kept returning to assault students, ignoring bans and police warnings. Scott believed he was superior. He blamed women for rejecting him and saw himself as a victim of society. In 2014, he discovered the incel community, short for involuntarily celibate. These online spaces were filled with resentment, misogyny, and, at times, praise for violence. Scott felt understood there. He shared his music and ideas, believing he finally had an audience. That same year, Elliot Rodger carried out a mass killing driven by incel ideology. Within the community, Rodger was glorified, and Scott idolized him. Inspired, Scott began uploading angry rant videos online, blaming women for his failures. In one video, he even threatened that if he didn't sleep with a woman soon, he would commit a violent act. Despite arrests and warnings, Scott was hired again as a teacher. At 38, he was teaching middle school when he became obsessed with cheerleaders and yoga classes. He was eventually fired after being caught viewing explicit content at work. By 2018, Scott was 40 years old, unemployed, nearly broke, and still living with his parents. He felt humiliated and angry. In his mind, the world and women owed him something, and he decided to take revenge. A former friend contacted the FBI, fearing Scott would hurt people based on his online posts. But without a direct threat, nothing could be done. On November 2nd, 2018, Scott uploaded his final song, F Them All. leaving behind a message blaming women for his life. That same day, he entered a yoga studio in Tallahassee. The class had just begun, mostly women, unaware of what was about to happen. Minutes later, Scott opened fire. 6 people were shot before a male employee intervened and tackled him. During the struggle, Scott took his own life. Most victims survived, but 2 women were killed. Maura Binkley, 21, a university student close to graduation, and Nancy Van Vessem, 61, a doctor, leader, and mother of 3. They didn't know Scott. They had never wronged him. They simply went to a yoga class and never came home. This tragedy is a reminder of how hatred, entitlement, and unchecked obsession can destroy innocent lives. Thank you for listening to this story on Arid Stories. If this story moved you, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a respectful comment below. Please remember, people who love Maura and Nancy may read what you write. Stay safe, and thank you for supporting Arid Stories.